My name is Christopher Erdmann. I'm the head librarian of the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. I'm head of actually the Harvard College Observatory Library and the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory Library. I attended my first symposium in 2010, and ever since then I've been just attending all of them. I think it's a great resource for the community, so I haven't missed a symposium yet. I've had a poster at the symposium before. My group has done a poster. I've judged some posters. I've also participated in various ways. I really appreciate the symposiums. When I was asked to participate in the panel, it was an honor to participate in it, and it was a subject area that I was very interested in, which is professional development in the area of data sciences for practicing librarians. And it's a subject that's near and dear to me. I spent a lot of time running programs to upgrade the skills of librarians in this area. So some of the, I think there was definitely a theme of sort of continuous development, not really getting settled, because there's so much changing, and you really have to keep learning. Be an active learner and not stop throughout your career. That was one of the bigger points. Also, I also brought up the point of the fact that this work is really hard, and that I would like to see more managers sort of design learning into the projects that they have in libraries. Margaret said something that I thought was really a good point, which is she had an opportunity to attend a program, and she made the time for it. She found a way to get funding for it, and really applied herself in that program, and she expressed how that was one of the most important decisions she had taken in her career. And I think those are the kind of carpe diem moments. You need to seize the day whenever you have an opportunity to grow. And it's actually something that I always try to do with my own staff. Is I'm always sending them messages of saying, have you seen this conference? Have you seen this one? This might be a great opportunity for you. And so also, bringing that to their attention. This is a way for you to grow. So that was something I really, I think, resonated with me, and that was the other thing I've heard was this message about trying to find the time to learn. That you really need to sometimes learn outside of the library. But again, I come back to that point that I really think that we need to do a better job of finding learning opportunities in libraries for our staff, because we sort of get stuck in the daily grind, and there's so much going on we need to be exposed to. That's one of the points that I think I think maybe was important to that group too. I had the opportunity when I was in library school. Between my first and second year, I worked at the United Nations. I took a chance, like Margaret. I took a chance and I went off to Geneva, and that was a loss. I spent a lot of money of my student loan money on that trip, but it was an excellent opportunity to work with researchers, work in an embedded library, and really learn the tools of the trade. It was important too, because it gives you an idea of what the world is like outside there, and gives you an opportunity to really figure out what you want to do when you get out of library school. So take those chances and really learn. I really feel like what we do here interweaves into the current library coursework. So I often talk to one of our students about how she's learning something, and how what we're doing in the library is applying to what there's the theoretical and then the applied, and we're doing the applied part of the training. But yeah, when I first started here, we actually hired Harvard students, and that's changed now. So we actually hire only Simmons Library School students, and a great partnership that I've had is with Rong Tang, one of the professors. So I'm constantly hearing from Rong about some of the more promising library school students that are coming through, and we've done some excellent usability studies with Rong about the NASA Astrophysics data systems. So that's been a way for me to find out about new library school students that could participate in our programs. And I think it's just great to have students in our staff. One thing with our students is that they're almost considered like staff. They're not students, they're actually working on projects that are important to the observatory. So they really feel like members of the staff. It may take time, so we have some new students that just joined us, and it's overwhelming. There's a lot to learn, and I think afterwards they start settling in once they know that we believe in them, that it's all right for them to take these risks and other things like that, to really have the opportunity to learn while they're working too. That's another interesting thing. I think a lot of times people feel guilty, like that they're actually learning while they're on the job, but here it's allowed. It's it's necessary. It's necessary, or else we'll never be able to do the services that we want to. The Wolbach Library it's two libraries actually in one. I'm the glue that holds the library together. We have Smithsonian library staff, and we have Harvard library staff. And so on one side, we have about 350 PhDs. On the Smithsonian side, Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory. Most of the Smithsonian is down in DC, but we're a Cambridge location. And then on the other side, we have the Harvard College Observatory. We have the astronomy department, and there are about 100 PhDs there. So the astronomy department and the Harvard College Observatory has graduate students. Mostly we cater to graduate students and up. So no real undergraduates come up here. But that's not to say that our library is actually a public library on the Smithsonian side. So we actually serve the greater community. We have people from all over the world come here to use our collection or to take advantage of our expertise. We also have become sort of a world library, and that's actually one of our mission statement, that by servicing the CFA, the Center for Astrophysics, we actually serve the world, the world astronomy community, because we have Italians, Germans, we have Indians, we have you name it, Russians, all over the world. They come here because this is a world-leading institution in astrophysics. So it's a strange thing. We are a world service because we also host the NASA Astrophysics data systems in our library. We have a lot of projects with them. And a lot of what we do is to not only help our own people, but to help other groups. So about a month or two ago, we hosted a meeting in this space with astronomers, most of them which were not from here, to work on a project to give credit to informal astronomy communications. So the easier way to say that is blogs, so that they can actually get credit, they can cite, they can discover that information in the astrophysics data systems. So that's just one example. We work with the whole community here in different ways, and it's exciting. I think every day we kind of have a different project. To start, I think the biggest challenge I had was when I arrived here. A lot of the members, many members of the community, didn't quite understand why they needed a library anymore. They're they weren't coming into the library as often as they used to, and instead they felt like they were getting a lot of their material online. So where was the value in the library? And that was one of the challenges I think I faced when initially I got here. I heard the library is very Victorian. It may not understand some of the needs that we have now, and so the hard part has been trying to change that opinion of us and demonstrate the value. And so one of the areas that I think we focused on is, which is very similar to what another group is doing called software carpentry, but really focusing on this area of how do we help astrophysicists become more efficient in the way they do things. And that ranges from all the way from collaborative writing to sharing their data. It's for lack of better term, I call it SCAL data now, because I think they're so interlinked with each other. Everyone says data services or scholarly communication. They're really intertwined. It's really the library services, what we always provided in the past, but there are new tools out there that we need to upgrade and understand. Upgrade our own skills and understand these tools so that we can hook into them as a library and do some of the things we normally used to do, which is help preserve this work and make it discoverable. And so that's been one of the challenges. And so now I've had these conversations. I always thought it was a barrier. So I had initial conversations where a scientist would come up and say, "You probably don't know what my need might be, or what I'm talking about." And then I would say, "Try me," and then we'd start talking, and then they have this amazing experience. They're like, "Wow, the library knows databases. The library knows this and that," and it would just dovetail into other things. So I had relationships grow that way. Alternatively, we've done a lot of announcements to this community about training programs and other services. And so people would come down, and same kind of thing. Like, normally it wouldn't come to the library, but you've been sending these messages, and now you may know something. And so it's been really blossoming and iterating. We've been iterating on all this work and just sort of growing our services to the point now where we just recently had a meeting where our libraries, our library committee, was very excited about an advanced research center, and the term library is sort of morphing into that, where they view the library as something like that. But in general, I think what I've really appreciated about the eScience symposiums and the community is that very fact, the community of being able to actually reach out to colleagues. Because initially, I think it may still be the case, but data librarians often feel isolated and don't feel like they have colleagues to talk to about certain challenges. And I think that community has been a great resource for sort of reaching out to others and meeting others you normally wouldn't reach or normally meet, and just asking them questions, difficult questions that you have. I remember particularly one symposium where you had someone from the NSF speaking, and I got a lot of information out of that. It was one of the reviewers, and even had a conversation with her afterwards about improving sort of the review process and the workflows and how data management plans could be done better. And I would normally never had that interaction if it wasn't for the symposiums and the community. It's a little bit controversial. I always found I'm not sure why it is, but one thing I would hope would happen for future symposiums, or what would happen in our community in general, is that we start having conversations with people in the open humanities, in digital humanities, open humanities, in the data sciences, and really bring these groups together. Because I think we have similar we have similar challenges, and I think it would be helpful to be able to have a broader conversation with these groups. As a head librarian, I'm never too busy to come to the symposiums or to participate in the eScience community. Since more and more of the library services are going in this direction, it's an opportunity to learn from others and really hear about some of the new services that other libraries are trying out and implementing. So I never have too much time to participate in this community. I think it's a valuable resource. And I remember putting in my calendar, like, it's happening in this day, and locking it off and being committed to that. In fact, it was very funny. One of my staff was supposed to be at the Science Symposium, my assistant head librarian, and she went to electronic resources and libraries, but she really also wanted to come to the symposium. She writes for the portal for the blog, so she really wanted to participate, and we couldn't split our time efficiently, so she had to go to the other conference, and I went to this one. And we shared, once we got back, we shared with each other, what did you learn? What did you learn? But I know my assistant head librarian was very excited to also participate.